Hey Swifties, I'm Aubrey.
And I'm Peyton.
And today we're telling you what we think you should read next based off of your favorite song from Folklore.
Yes, so drink a cup of coffee as we dive between these paper sheets. Hey everyone, welcome to this episode. As always, I'm here to brief you on any warnings we have for this episode. This is a non-spoiler episode. This is a Rex
Yes.
episode. So actually there's a lot of series that we kind of had to skirt around because if you're really in tune with the meaning of these songs, they could be
Yeah.
spoilers. But so just so we're clear, these songs are blanket terms for the books. You don't know if it's, a big thing that happens or a small thing that happens or just an overall vibe of the world that the book takes place in. So do
Yeah.
not call us out for ruining it because it's just a vibe check and that is merely it. And then also, this is just one of many Taylor Swift themed videos we have done.
Yes.
So if you're a bookish Swiftie like we are, we have a whole playlist curated that we will put down below, and then also at the end of the video, you can just click and scroll and
Yeah.
choose. We have a lot of Swiftie videos for you.
Yes. All right, we're going to kick it off with the first song of the album because we are doing good. We are on some new shit for this start of salt season. I've seen a lot of people on TikTok calling August salt season
Salt
because of
season.
August. And I'm really obsessed with that. So if you've seen it in a lot of the hardcover captions lately, that's me. I'm sorry. I just thought it was cute. But we have The One. And
Yes.
for this song, we are recommending some Taylor Jenkins Reid, Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo.
Naturally.
This book is so good. I would recommend it to honestly anyone and everyone. It's a short read. I think that she does characters super well. It tells the story of Miss Evelyn Hugo trying to make it or break it in like 1950s Hollywood. There's a lot of themes about like feminism, sexism, and other things that you discover along the way as you evaluate kind of her life in relation to each husband she has, because there is seven. There's a dual timeline where we
Yes.
have I don't remember her name, but there is a journalist who has come to interview
Monique.
Evelyn at the end of her life, and then kind of like looking back to the original story that's being told.
Yes.
I think this song fits so well.
Yes. I mean, so this Evelyn Hugo in this story is a movie star.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
you through her husband, you see how her success and popularity grows. Basically,
Mm-hmm.
the greatest way to kind of explain her trajectory is like a Marilyn Monroe. That's like
Yes.
a very like clear image that I always give a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people. But this lyric, I hit the ground running each night. I hit the Sunday matinee. The greatest films of all time were never made, which is like that imagery for this song, and
Mm-hmm.
especially it being set in Hollywood in the film industry is like
Yeah,
this
I
this
know.
this song also has a lot of like what could have been energy, like
Yes.
I grinded, tried my hardest, but like you still never win. And it
Mm-hmm.
has this kind of like tongue in cheek to it where she's
Yeah.
kind of feisty in it.
I like the like roaring 20s, tossing pennies in the pool. If my wishes came true, it would have been you, because this is very much like the golden age of Hollywood. And Evelyn lives a life of glam, but as she kind of works through all of her suitors, there's one that's just like stuck with her that she's like, "Oh, like I
That she
wanted
just
it to
can't
be
have.
you."
Yeah,
Yeah.
that you just can't have. And I love the in my defense, I have none for never leaving well enough alone, because Evelyn is such a complex, morally great
Yeah.
character, and she
Mhm.
does not leave well enough alone.
No.
Because
Never.
even when she does have what she wants
Yeah.
more. And I don't know,
Exactly.
Hollywood and like that whole roaring 20s, Great Gatsby,
Mhm.
like is perfect
Yes.
for this song, is
Mhm.
that just vibe. And The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo is like the modern day Gatsby in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So it pulls a lot from that, I
Ugh.
feel. Wow, yeah, great book. I highly recommend. And the one is, for being the first track on this album and being
Yeah.
the number one song on the album. Um, I love this song. I love how she
Yeah.
starts the song.
Oh, so good. All right,
Yeah.
moving into our next song, which we are repping today. It just came in the mail, and I was so excited. I was like, ha 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 ha. Now I can pretend it's an OG. It is definitely from the 72-hour sale, but it's
Yeah.
mine.
Oh well. At least it's not a dupe.
Well, yes, it's not a dupe. The real folklore original cardigan. Yes.
Yes. So,
All right.
cardigan we have here is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Aubrey's
Addie
gonna hold it up
LaRue.
for us.
I don't know how well this shows up. I have the special edition, but I swear it is the Invisible Life of Addie LaRue.
Yes, mine's back there in the blue section, but it has like the blue cover and it's so pretty. I think
It's
that
so
even the
gorgeous.
insides, like the
Yeah,
inside
it's got
cover
like
is
this
really
little like
pretty.
texture.
Yeah. So this book is a lot. It's a lot
Yes.
to, briefly describe. But
Mhm.
it's
Go for it.
and Aubrey chime in here to help a girl out.
Okay.
But briefly, it's about a young girl set in the
Yes.
1700s, 1800s, something
I can check, but period.
period. Long ago. Definitely no Instagram and definitely no Tinder.
1714
1714.
France.
Okay, in France. There is this young girl who's to be wed to someone, and Addie is her
Mhm.
name. She does not want to be wed. So she runs to the river
No.
and begs the gods, please, I'll do anything. I just don't want this life. Well, lo and behold, the devil shows up. And his name is Luke, and he is a baddie. And long story short, what the whole rest of the book takes you on this journey of Addie
Mhm.
lives forever, but she can
Yes.
live forever, but no one will remember her. So picture this. You are Addie. You walk into a room, you meet a hottie, you get talking, you get mingling.
Mhm.
He walks away, he comes back, doesn't remember you, doesn't know who you are. So she
At
lives
all.
basically from what was that, 1714?
Yeah, to
All
like
the way
2014.
2014 is where the story takes you. So this woman lives hundreds of lives.
Yeah.
And the whole book,
Yeah.
the best way is it's very prosy. It's very, just like it
Mhm.
feels like a high end luxury store when you're reading it.
Yes, yes. This is V.E. Schwab's. Honestly, I could see this becoming like a new age
Oh,
classic.
it is. Your
The
kids will be reading this
themes,
in
the
high school.
prose, there's magic, but it's about this like deal with the devil type magic. It's a very, very soft, almost magical realism
Yeah.
setting and prose. It's so beautiful. It's a great book club book too. We read it for our November book club and it kind of slayed. So let's look at these lyrics here.
I literally think these bullet points go through the whole story. Like line by line, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
this is act
Mhm.
1, this is act 2, this is act 3.
So, first, we start off when you are young, they assume you know nothing. Adeline is young. Addie LaRue, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. She does not want to be called Adeline. She actually makes a big thing
God
about it in
forbid.
the book. My bad. She's young. She makes a decision perhaps she shouldn't have, and now she was a fool and she kind of got treated as such. But I knew you playing hide and seek and giving me your weekends. We will watch something a bit nefarious unfold. And
Yes,
I
you realize there's some unhealthy codependent relationship happening between her and someone that does remember her.
uh, I also love the you drew stars around my scars and now I'm bleeding. Addie. Oh my god, I don't know why I keep saying Adeline.
She's gonna come back and beat you
I
up.
know she's gonna come and get me. I really love the name Adeline.
Oh.
Addie as a nickname is fine. Adele is worse. But I really love Adeline, which is why I'm saying it. But anyways, Addie has freckles on her face that align to make a little like constellation, which is like so pretty, like imagery. So like this idea of like you drew stars around my scars. I don't know. I think that just like hits
Yeah.
them so
It's
well.
alluding to that deal she made with Luke, aka the devil, and he
Mm-hmm.
like eased her pain, but now she's actually bleeding because of it. Um,
Yes. Yeah.
literally the fucking book. Um, and then this feels very much towards the ending of the book. Like this just feels
Yes.
like the vibe check, like we were
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about. She goes, "Mark me like a blood stain. I knew you tried to change the ending. Peter losing Wendy." Because this book's all about time, right? So
Yeah.
you've been on Earth for hundreds and hundreds of years. What
Yeah.
happens when time starts running out? What
Mm-hmm.
happens? I don't know. You got to read to find out. I recommend this
Yeah.
book. I've had people love it. I've
Mm-hmm.
had people hate it. But
Yeah.
we once this is a book that once you're 6 months removed, you sit back and you're like, huh, that's a good
Yeah.
book.
Yeah. I'd also totally recommend listening to it. I think
I
sometimes
listened to it.
prosier books are easier to consume if you're listening to it like a story than if you're like caught up on like the thick small text and turning the page, and like the effort level is different when you're
100%.
listening and you can really just like
100%.
sit with the words. Next, we have The Last Great American Dynasty. This is a vibe check. I have pulled lyrics, but this is simply the vibe. I was also wondering, I'll say my rec, but I have another one that I was thinking perhaps you would think so, but I didn't read the book. So it was just from listening to you talk about it. But first, we have The Inheritance Games. This is a YA like mystery dark academia book that we actually, it was like one of our first reviews on the podcast. We went to Barnes and Noble and picked up a random book to read it. That's very like old hardcover aesthetic. um, but the main character is this poor girl who is somehow been bequeathed the entire inheritance of the Hawthorne estate. And she has become a millionaire overnight and has to live in this house with a bunch of like boys her age and the parents and everyone who thought that they might be getting all of this money and this large manor, and are not. And the man who died, Mr. Hawthorne himself, who has passed on this, loved to play puzzles and games, and there is still a puzzle to be solved.
Yes. It's good. Yeah, and it
It
follows
was
that
good.
kind of like affluent family that like
Hmm.
everyone knows. And so, are you thinking of The Great Gatsby?
No, I've read The Great Gatsby. That does work. I was
It
thinking of
really is.
Malibu Rising.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that's true at all, but you've talked about it a few times on the podcast, and I was like, maybe.
Yeah, that's basically about a family who like comes like their dad is if you've read a lot of TJR, their dad's Mick
Hmm.
Riva, who shows up in a lot of different books. And
Hmm.
it's what happens when your dad's a rock star who's never around and like you have to like raise your family and this family is actually like really successful. Um I like reading these like lyrics.
Hmm.
I definitely like the inheritance games, like 100%. I definitely see that how it fits. For me, like the Great Gatsby got in my head right away because the Great
Oh, for
Gatsby
sure.
takes place around the area in which Taylor Swift's Rhode Island home is. And similar to how we felt about the one, I mean, like this whole album kind of exudes that kind of like old money kind of
Yes.
feeling, which
Hmm.
is why I love it. It feels very Gilded Age. Just the
Yes. Oh,
idea of
for
like who
sure.
knows if she never showed up, what could have been. Like I just think of Daisy
Hmm.
showing up to Gatsby's like green light, and he's like, "Oh my
Yeah.
gosh!" And then Free of Women with Madness, They're Men in Bad Habits, which is literally the Great Gatsby.
Oh,
Men
for
in their
sure.
bad
And I
habits and crazy women with
yeah,
madness.
I know a lot of folklore and Evermore was inspired like by the classics. And I
As
think
it should.
like who is that guy, like Jack or something like that? I can't think of his the booktuber.
Oh yeah, Jack Edwards.
Yes, I
Mhm.
think he would slay at this video. He'd probably
Yeah,
do a
because
better job than us
he would just keep
because
going. I know. I
because
looked at
he's
like Hamnet and stuff, and I was like, no, people don't really want to hear us say classics the whole time.
yeah,
I
I
could have
think the
said
classics.
Jane Eyre. Like,
Yeah. Oh, I was looking at like other people's list of these for inspiration online, and like Penguin Random House did one, but it's like all to these like
the bell
classics or
jar.
very like upmarket books, and I was like, that's not really our thing. But I am a Swiftie and I want to talk about folklore, and so I pulled out the YA thriller. But yes, I guess he
Yes.
probably fits this song better.
Yeah, like I know one of these, like Sylvia Plath's "The Bell Jar" would be perfect, and like whatever. But moving
Yeah,
on, love this song. One of my it's my fiance's favorite song on the album.
I love it. I
So
love Bon
this one,
Iver too.
the next one is a absolute out of the park home run. And the movie's coming out soon. We have
Yes.
Exile, and we chose Miss Colleen Hoover. It ends with us.
Yeah.
This book, I mean, I liked going in not knowing what it's about, but if you don't know what this book
Yeah.
is about by now, like, sorry, like, have you seen Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's like YouTube previews? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they're trying to hide it anymore. Um, but just in general, it's about Lily Bloom kind of learning uh in her relationship and kind of trying to not repeat what she saw with her parents.
yes, yep. And so in Exile,
Mhm.
Taylor says, "I think I've seen this film before and I didn't like the ending," which perfectly reflects
Literally.
back from Lily's perspective about her childhood, which this book is a dual timeline.
Mhm.
So it goes
Yes.
back to when she was a kid to now when she's an adult, and so that works perfectly. And then second,
Yeah.
third, and hundredth chances, bouncing on breaking branches, because Lily
Mhm.
does give her person in this book a lot of different chances, and
Yep.
he does break her branches. All this time we always walked a very thin line. You didn't even see the signs. So this
Yeah.
Exile's actually heartbreaking song, but it's about like being in a relationship and like you're in it, but
Mhm.
you're still exile while you're in a relationship.
Yeah.
And so this book is like, honestly, I love this book. I think a lot of people should
Mhm.
read it. It's gotten a lot
Yeah.
of hate over the years, but I like everyone I've talked to who's read it has been like, "Whoa!" Like, if you
Yeah.
go into it,
Actually,
it's a good book.
if you don't want spoilers, skip ahead for a minute because I want to talk about it without talking around it for a second.
Sure.
Um, Especially because it is in the trailer. But this story of domestic violence that Colleen Hoover wrote because of her own experiences through her parents, the message of Lily having their little girl and saying, it's going to end. I'm walking away so she doesn't have to experience this
Right.
is so powerful. And I know it's so popular to hate on Colleen Hoover. I know that that is the most fun thing. And I'm not going to read her romance books because I know that they're not good. But I think this story deserves a place right along with, honestly, Addie LaRue of a new age classic. I think what it goes through, and if you go in blind and you fall for Riles and then have your heart broken and you she does it in such a way where you face this little bit where like the when the first sign of abuse happens, you're like, "Oh, but
It's
we could
okay.
forgive him."
Yeah.
And you do forgive him along with Lily, and then it happens again and again, and you kind of go experience what
He'll
domestic
change. He'll
abuse
change.
survivors
Oh my gosh,
experience.
yeah. It was so eye-opening cuz even like when she finally left him, I'm like, "It's okay. Like go back to him. It's going to be okay." And it's like,
Yeah.
"No.
No.
We don't do that."
And it's just it's so powerful, and like the ability of like writing this story, making your readers feel it along with Lily and then leave with Lily is just like top notch, top service.
We are excited for the movie.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
Hopefully you skipped ahead if you didn't want that spoiled for you, but I'm sure you've already read it by now. My Tears Ricochet, which is my favorite song off the album.
I
Aubrey
love this song. Yes.
Aubrey got us some Percy Jackson. So
Okay.
give it to us, girl.
Listen, if you are a fan of folklore and you know what My Tears Ricochet is, and you are also a Percy Jackson fan, and I pull out this book, which, by the way, look at this beautiful special edition. It's got a little lightning bolt on the side.
That's so pretty.
You're probably thinking, what the fuck? And to that, you'd be accurate. I want to touch that. I don't think that this song applies to Percy in any way, but I think this song is perfect for his mother and for all of the parents who kind of have a relationship with the gods. And if you watch the Disney Plus TV show, even if you haven't read the books yet, I totally recommend it. And taking it out of the middle grade context that this book is, because it's a middle grade book, but I still think the story, Percy's story, is totally worth it. But then looking at it through the lens of his mom and these adults who are in relationship with Greek gods, is just so like powerful, and it's so good, and the TV show does such a good job of representing this. So if you know nothing about Percy Jackson is a demigod. His father is a Greek god and his mother is a normal human, and he goes to a camp with other demigods and he has to go on like a quest to save the world. But if you look at this song through the lens of his mom, it's so perfect. So we have the lyrics of like, I didn't have it in myself to go with Grace. You're the hero flying around saving face, because their relationship was entirely forbidden. His father had like gave an oath to never have kids, but then he fell in love with this woman by the sea, and they had a child, and he didn't want to leave, but he had to. And then she's just kind of stuck raising this child who is likely going to die because there's a lot of Greek tragedy and all of these things. And like, I can go anywhere I want, just not home, because she can't like go home to that relationship. She can't, like, the beach house where they like fell in love, she takes Percy to each summer, but it's not the same because he's not there. And so the battleships will sink beneath the waves, because if you haven't put it together, Percy's father is Poseidon, and it's just so perfect. And I think about this song and I think of her, and it's beautiful.
Aw, yeah, that's like so, like the imagery is like
Yeah.
exactly it. I love that song. It's my favorite song.
It's so beautiful.
Our next one is Mirror Ball, which Taylor wrote this. If
Mirrorball.
you don't know, Taylor wrote this actually for her
Yes.
fans because she feels like a mirror ball for us.
Mhm.
And the music in which she creates and what she wants, and she knows her fans get from her
Mhm.
stories and her music is kind of like her pain and happiness and life is,
Yeah.
it reflects, and, we see ourselves in her almost like a mirror.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
so Mirrorball, we have Funny Story
Funny
by
story.
Emily Henry, which just came out this past spring.
Mhm.
Um, this
The
story,
vibes
yeah,
are very specific to a character. You can tell. I think we should say what the story is, because I think it's a great book. But when we're comping this, we're comping it to Daphne.
yeah. So this story follows Daphne and what's his name, Nick?
Nick? No. Paul?
Nick at night. Did you just say Paul?
I think that's the no. That's the bad guy. You go. I'll find Miles.
Miles. Oh, I was thinking Nick from New Girl.
Yeah, I know that's exactly what you were thinking.
Shit. Okay.
It's
Well, this
very New Girl esque.
it's very New Girl esque. So imagine this: you're engaged, you
Imagine.
wed. And you are always worried about your fiance's like best friend that's a girl, but they're just friends. They are just
Just
friends.
friends.
Nothing to worry about. He's
Nothing. You
away.
trust him.
He's away, right? With her,
Mhm.
some friends, whatever. He comes home to your house that you share.
Oh, he's away on his bachelor trip
Oh,
because you're
yes.
about to get married.
Married. Okay. So you're like, have fun, sweetie. Be good. I'll be home at the house. She
Mhm.
moved to this town for him. This is, his town. So she's like,
Yeah.
a good girl. She works in a library. She loves books, right? We love our Daphne. He comes home and he's like, hey, I'm gonna need you to leave. I'm actually in love with my best friend. And like the wedding's off. So sorry. I'm gonna go away on like a sex moon here.
The nerve.
A sexcation.
Yes.
When I'm back, just be gone. Sorry. Love you. Bye. So she is confused. She doesn't really know the best friend's boyfriend very well, but she goes. She's like, "Oh, he's there. Sorry guys. He comes. She opens a door. Okay? Best friend's
Yes.
boyfriend,
The
who we now
female best
know.
friend that her husband left her for, she had a boyfriend
So
who is
think like
now
a
her
switcheroo,
ex.
right? Like switching
Yeah.
partners, okay? He's
Yeah.
like, "Hey, what's going on?" That's how the story starts. Months
Yeah, this
later,
is chapter 1.
those two are living together,
Yes.
very New Girl style, right? Like
Mhm.
she's very like a Jess, sort of like got her ducks
Yeah.
in a row, has the calendar. Miles is very much a Nick Miller. Such a Nick Miller. He's a little messy,
100%.
such a sweet, so kind, has the biggest heart, is just heartbroken. This man
Mhm.
is so
He's so
heartbroken that
sad.
Daphne's like, her thing is like, I'm sad, I'm putting myself into work. He's like, I'm gonna go smoke pot and rot in bed.
Yeah.
So
Which is more relatable,
the
honestly.
whole story basically is Miles kind of showing her that, life can be lived, and takes her on these little weekend trips
Mhm.
around Michigan,
Yeah.
and kind of convinces her to stay in the area and whatever, whatever.
Yes.
So, with that being said, that's the
So
overall idea of the book. Read it for all the drama. There's actually really cool characters
mhm.
that show up. I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
But yes, Aubrey,
Yeah. So
walk us through this girl.
so her Daphne's whole like thing is that she got rid of like all parts of her personality and completely molded herself to the husband who then ditches her, and then she's like left with nothing. And so part of like why Miles is showing her around is because she plans on leaving the town because she only moved there to be with him. And Miles is like, "No, like there's other, like you can choose to stay because you want to, because you like this town and you can make it your own, and not just because of her relationship with him." But Mirror Ball to me is the ultimate people pleaser song. This idea of I can change everything about me to fit in. I'm still trying everything to get you laughing at me. All I do is try, try, try. And I think that fits Daphne so well because at the start, she's completely lost who she is because she was only what he wanted her to be. And this story has a bit of that like self discovery and like coming back from that and being like, no, what do I want? Who am I? That was really beautiful. So
Yes,
that is
highly
why
recommend.
I've put it to Mirrorball. It's not that sad of a book like Mirrorball is as a song, but
All right, moving
all
on. We have
right.
7.
I
Oh,
love
I put
7.
Tress and the Emerald Sea.
Yes.
I thought this really worked. I was like, 7, 7, 7. This song feels like a fairy tale. It feels like youth. It feels like, I don't know,
Yeah.
just whimsy. So 7. Let me read some lyrics here. And I've been
Oh,
meaning to
maybe
tell.
we should say what the book is. The book
Yes,
plot.
sure. Tress, go ahead, Aubrey. You know better than I do.
They're like, we're gonna go right into the lyrics. If you
I,
don't
in
know
my
what this
head, I
book
was
is
like, I'm
about.
gonna tell the lyrics and explain how it relates to the story, but it's all right. Go ahead, tell the plot.
Oh no, if you want to do the lyrics first, you can. I
No,
was just
go
like,
ahead.
wait, we didn't say what the book was.
Tress
Okay.
the Emerald Sea. Yeah, by
Tress of the
Brandon
Emerald
Sanderson.
Sea by Brandon Sanderson is a Princess and the Bride retelling. Basically, Brandon wrote this book for his wife because after watching the movie, he turned to her and he was like, "Wasn't that great?" And she was like, "Yeah, but Buttercup didn't get to do shit." And so this is Princess Bride if Buttercup had agency and decided to save Wesley herself. It tells the story of Tress going out on a daring pirate adventure to save her loved one. Go ahead.
Yes, this these lyrics are perfect for this book.
Yes.
This is the bridge of the song, which is always the best. And Taylor says, "And I've been meaning to tell you, I think your house is haunted. Your dad is always
Mhm.
mad, and that must be why. And I think you should come live with me, and we can be pirates, and then you won't have to cry." Or hide
Yeah.
in the closet, and just like a folk song, our love will be passed along. So in this lyric, Tress is like,
Mhm.
"Hey, your dad kind of sucks. I know you
Which
don't want
his
to be
dad
here.
does.
You should come run away with me. We can be pirates," which is exactly what Tress does.
Mhm.
Or hide in your little closet, and just like a folk song, which like this is like what these like Grimm's brothers stories and these like folky stories
Yeah.
are. They're just word of mouth stories that are
Mhm.
passed along like
Yeah.
generations, right?
Yeah.
Um, So I love this because in this song, Taylor's like, we have two options. You can run away with me, or we can just be a story. Um, I love it. I was
Yeah.
so stuck on this song thinking, and I knew the bridge. I love the bridge, but I forgot it,
Mhm.
and I was like, oh my god, stressed, literally
No,
stressed.
I think
So
that's
windy.
perfect. I hadn't even thought of it. And it just like this book evokes that like whimsical fairy tale-esque storytelling, which I think that 7 really hits hard. That's so smart of a comp that you came up with. I was so stuck on 7 being like a little gay song that I was like, I don't know, like I can't think of anything. But no, that fits so well. Even like the fact that it has pirates.
Oh, I know. It's perfect.
That's so perfect.
All
Cute.
right. So next
Right.
we have August, which is like the song of August right now.
Mhm.
I was actually having a hard time finding like picking a book for this. I actually chose Where the
Mhm.
Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. Because this book I think literally takes place in the month of August. The summer imagery in this book is
Yeah.
incredible. Long story short, because this book is super complex, I would actually put it like the prose and the imagery and just like the
Mhm.
feeling upwards of like a V.E. Schwab. This
Yeah.
is a modern day classic. Your kids will be reading this in AP Lit when they're in high school. This is the book that got me back into reading. This is like my baby. And I'm sure a lot of you have seen the movie. But so Where the Crawdads Sing, in short, is about our main character named Kaya, who is like known as the Swamp Girl. So there's
Mhm.
like an affluent, rich side of town, and then there's like where the swamp people live, and she's kind of stuck in that category. She didn't go to school. She like doesn't know how to read or write or like hardly speak. She walks around barefoot and overall she's kind of a
Mhm.
mess. But she is extremely intrigued with the natural world around her. She knows the swamp the best. She knows how to hide things in the swamp. She is amazing. So there's two love interests, I guess you could say, in this book. One really good, and one that she really falls in love with. And then happens to be dead a couple days later, and we don't know why. How did that happen? How did that happen? So this
What
book,
happened?
it's a mystery. This book is an absolute
Mhm.
mystery. You don't know if she was being protected, if she did it herself, whatnot. So the lyrics I pulled from this is, but I can see us lost in the memory. August slipped away into a moment in time because it was never mine. So in this book, a lot of
Yeah.
times, that she has this like whirlwind romance with like one of the
Mhm.
football player of the town, right? Think like
Mhm.
90s rom-com, like the little girl who no one loves, got the big
Yeah.
shot, but he kept their relationship hidden, and he would come to her only when he needed her, and to live
Mhm.
for the hope of it all, cancel plans just in case you call and say meet me behind the mall. That is exactly this book and Kaya's outlook on this relationship. She was teaching herself how to read and write, and she was really into
Mhm.
biology, and she would like get rid of all of that just to sit at this like one beach area and wait for him all day. And there's even a scene in the book where they agreed to meet up late at night and he just never
Mhm.
showed. And so it like breaks your heart.
Asshole.
Yeah. So this book, the imagery, if you love summer, but you don't want it to be this
Mhm.
like teeny bopper romance, this is your book.
Mhm.
Highly recommend. Salt Air. Salt Air
Salt
Season.
air. Salt air season. Oh, that's so good.
I'll never do this book justice, but yeah. Listen to it.
No,
I
I
should
that
recommend listening
sounded
to it.
really good. There's
I,
also another Taylor Swift song that fits perfect for Where the Crawdads Sings. The one she wrote for the movie.
yeah, the one that she literally wrote for the movie. Yeah, Caroline, because it takes place in the Carolinas.
Oh,
So
I love the dreamy, like haunting aesthetic of Caroline. Anyways, that's not what this album is. It kind of is what this album does have a dreamy, haunty feel,
yeah, it
but not
does.
as much as Caroline. Anyways, my personal favorite of the album. This is me trying. All of you depressed girls out there, I see you. And we have another depressed girl, which is Will Herondale in Clockwork Angel.
He is a depressed
Uh,
girl.
this is the best like love story trilogy of all time. I
It's
talk about it
great.
all the time. I love it. This is the Infernal Devices, the first book. It is part of the Shadowhunter world. If you have seen or heard of City of Bones or Shadowhunters, there's a TV show, there's a movie. The first like series in this world that takes place in like 2010-ish was super popular. This is a masterpiece. It follows the story of Tessa Gray, who has been brought into this world of Shadowhunters in the 1800s. And she's trying to uncover who she is. The Shadowhunters are these angelic fighters who fight demons. And there's like, an evil person trying to kill and take over the world plot. But what matters so much in these stories is our three main characters, Will, Jem, and Tessa, and the love triangle that
Yes,
is a complete triangle, I will say,
it is.
because Jem and Will love one another so much. It's not gay. She does have a love triangle in another book series that is a gay love triangle where like it ends in like a throuple situation. That's not this, but this is so heartbreaking beautiful. And one of the main characters, Will, in the first book, you don't learn a lot about him, but you can kind of see these lyrics shine. But he has a wall built up around him without any spoilers for the second book. And he has this defense mechanism where he tries to push everyone away.
Yep.
So we have the lyrics like, I just want you to know, like, this is me trying. Like, he is trying his best to be with people, especially in his relationship to Tessa. Like, she just wants him to love her because she can tell he does, but like, he won't open himself up and he won't be with her because of his personal backstory that is not revealed in book one. They told me all my cages were mental, so I got wasted like all my potential.
He
He has
does.
known to brag about drinking around. And my words shoot to kill when I'm mad. I have a lot of regrets about that. I just reread this book, and there are times where Tessa and him will get really close, and then he will say the most nasty, vile
Push her
shit to
away.
push her away. I was so ahead of the curve. The curve became a sphere. He's like the best shadow hunter, like of his generation. It's so hard to be anywhere these days when all I want is you. All he wants is Tessa, and yet something's keeping him from her. And I'd recommend you read the trilogy
Find
and
out.
find out what.
That was a great no, this is a great one.
Thank you.
Your
I know I
heart
kind of talked.
your heart
I didn't let
breaks.
you talk much, but I was so excited.
No, it's been a long time. I read these in college, like sophomore year of college. So it's been a really long
Yeah.
time since I read them. But everyone I talk to, and I will say these are the best books. Like not even just in the
Yeah.
Hunter series, but just in general. Even if you don't
Mhm.
want to read any more of the Shadow Hunters,
Yeah.
they're a great trilogy to read.
Yeah.
Like they're good even
I would
standalone. It's fun to be like in the
Mhm.
world and like there's a lot of characters that show up that are in other books,
Yeah.
but yes. Okay. Illicit
Next.
affairs. We have like
Illicit
two ideas, so
affairs.
we can kind of skim past this a bit.
Yes.
Right
Yeah.
now we have Powerless by Lauren Roberts
Powerless.
in the mix. And then I also put down From Blood and Ash. Um
Mhm.
it the vibes. Once again, we're going for
The
vibes here with a
vibes.
lot of these fantasy
Yes.
books. Because
Yeah,
fantasy
we
books
don't
are
read
so
cheating
complex.
books. So we don't have any books about like a full strong affair. Because who's into that?
Yeah.
But
Um
especially if you're thinking about that bridge and you want to scream, "Don't call me kid, don't call me baby. Look at this godforsaken mess that you have made me. You showed me your colors. You showed me colors you know I can't see with anyone else." This kind of like hopeless attachment to someone that you can't or shouldn't be with.
you know what? The thing is, like, I understand illicit affairs is like an affair song or like
Yeah.
someone you can't be seen with during the day. You only get night, and then someone
Mhm.
maybe you pour your heart out for, but they give you, in reality, nothing back in return.
Yeah.
These books, Powerless and From Blood and Ash, they're not books in which the main love interest cheats on someone. It's
No.
it's a lie that's been told that
Yeah.
comes to a head
Mhm.
usually at the end of the book, and
Yeah.
the main character has to deal with the repercussions and the feelings that come with that. So,
Yeah.
if you have told me something this whole time and I fall in love with you and you show me like genuine,
Mhm.
connection and love, and then
Yeah.
that lie rips that connection apart. And I do think that if you're interested in like that kind of idea, Powerless
Yeah.
really does have that. And from Blood and
Mhm.
Ash at the end, you will be
Definitely.
socks are knocked off.
Yeah.
So don't think like the love interest is going to cheat on them, but
Yeah.
also maybe there's some things that they're not being very truthful about that are going to become a very big deal.
Yes. Yeah, I
And that's
think this
gonna
song
be for you.
definitely fits book 2 for both series a little better.
Yeah.
But I don't think either one of that is like I don't think it changes your perspective of book 1 to hear this. Because you don't know exactly what it is, and it's different in each book. I
Yeah.
think they also have like this like damn well for you I would ruin myself. The characters in Powerless and the characters in From Blood and Ash, once they like start interacting, the love interests, they're so down bad. They're
Yeah.
so like consumed by this person that's kind of what makes the
The
lie
gap.
hit harder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Highly recommend these. We could talk
Yes.
about them both forever. Okay, so next we have
Next.
Invisible String,
Yeah.
which we have down, and I'll pull it out for everyone. Oh, we're gonna pull out a classic for you all. We're
Yeah,
gonna
this is reaching into the archives.
we're gonna hit you with Peyton's middle school obsession, Outlander. Love Outlander. Um, if you love magical realism, if you love historical fiction, if you love hot, steamy sex, Outlander is for you. These books are amazing. They start in World War II and follow a World War
Mhm.
II nurse named Claire. To be
Claire.
fair, I don't even know her last name. It's Claire Fraser to you, okay? But basically, she is a nurse in World War II in the beginning of this book,
Mhm.
and she and her husband decide after the war has ended to go and
Mhm.
finally have their honeymoon. And she
Yes.
goes up, they're touring. She's really into like
Mhm.
she's like a botanist, I guess. Like she likes herbs
Yeah.
and like making medicinal things with
Uh-huh.
herbs and like the imagery and just like the landscape
Useful
of
skill to come in
Scotland.
later.
Yeah, in general is amazing. And her and her husband, not Roger. I mean, it's Tobias
I don't know.
Menzies' character. It's been a while, guys. Anyways,
White man.
the white man, who's not Scottish, they visit this thing and they see this like clan, like cult like dance going on, and
Yeah.
they're amazed by it, and she's amazed by it.
Mhm.
And then those like women pack up and they leave. It feels very like Highlands folky, like it's,
Yeah.
and if you
Yeah.
watch the show, like you're like, oh shit, what's happening here? Are we gonna start
Mhm.
kissing? Like I don't know. And so when they're done, Claire like hears this vibration from the stone in the middle of like,
Uh-huh.
think like Stonehenge. Um, she
Yeah.
touches it.
It's a real thing in Scotland,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yep, you can go visit
I don't know what it's
Claire.
called.
I forget what it's called too. I'm sure people will be
You
like,
you
you don't
know.
know. It's I'm like,
You don't
listen. I used to wear a kilt
Anyways.
every day. Those days are gone. We're in cardigans now. Anyway, so she gets transported to like the Jacobite wars in Scotland. And
Mhm.
she is, British. She's English. She does not have a Scottish accent, but gets thrown into these clans. And she basically has to fight her way through. And then, of course, I
Mhm.
mean, guys, look at Sam Hewen. Just look at him. That is our Jamie Fraser, and there's an
Yes.
age gap. There's like a 20-year age gap in between them.
Mhm.
And she, that whole invisible string. Let me give you some lyrics here. Um,
Yeah.
where? Oh, we don't have
Isn't
lyrics for
she's
this.
forced to marry him to like survive,
Yeah.
right?
So
Or is
in the
that a TV
books,
show thing? I haven't
no,
read the books. I
that's
only read the TV show.
So in the it's a little convoluted, but yes, basically if she
Mhm.
wants to be accepted and seen and like have her safety, because like think about this, the red coats, like England really did not have a great
Yeah.
history at this time. They were literally pillaging and like destroying clan lands. I mean, Scotland is
Mhm.
literally part of Great Britain now because of it.
Yeah.
Basically all their heritage was stripped from them. So these, redcoats are coming in,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
actually the main villain in the story is the ancestor of her husband, her like
Yeah.
1940s husband. So she sees him and she's like, "Holy shit, that's my husband," but his name's like
Mhm.
Blackjack and he's not a good guy. Anyways, so we don't have lyrics
Yes.
for Invisible String, but the idea of invisible string, like all along there was an invisible
Yeah.
string tying me to you. Out of all the places
Mhm.
for her to transport, out of all the people for her to get connected to, again and again,
Yeah.
she gets pulled back to Jamie. And
Mhm.
there's something just so magical about it. And,
Yeah.
if you love romance, if you love fantasy with a little bit of history sprinkled in,
Mhm.
you will love this series. Um,
Yes.
Also, we just quickly put in A Court of Mist and Fury. If you've read those books, this is the Court of Thorns and Roses series. A lot of shit changes in book two, and
Mhm.
you are hit with a lot of truth that you didn't realize, but is sprinkled out in the first book.
Yeah.
And it makes the second one even better than the first. So, highly
Yes.
recommend both of
Yeah.
those.
I
Invisible
I
String,
love the,
the
like,
imagery.
especially in fantasy worlds, anytime also that there's, like, a mates or, like, fated mates trope, there's this idea of, like, there was this invisible string, like,
Tying me
tying
to
us
you.
together, and eventually we will, like, find one another. I think in the From Blood and Ash series, when two people get married, there's like an actual like golden thread that shows up in their hand that like ties them together. That's like
Oh,
so like
yeah.
fantasy and fun and
Yes.
romantic.
This
So
song can be related to so many of those, like, yeah, fated mate
yeah.
stories, and even like in Outlander, a lot of there's a certain point in the series where they get separated again, and
Mhm.
they still are able to come back together. Because that's just how those books work.
Yeah.
There's like
Mhm.
15 books in the series. I'm not reading them all. All right, next one. We're on our home stretch here. We have Mad
Yes.
Woman.
Mad Woman, I love this song. I think this is the uh one of the Feminine Rage songs that Miss Taylor Swift has. I know she's labeling Tortured Poets Department, specifically Who's Afraid of Little Old Me, as Feminine Rage the musical, but I think Taylor Swift has been knocking back some Feminine Rage songs since like Taylor Swift debut era. But we have Cersei specifically for Mad Woman. Fun fact: Cersei is seen as the first witch in Greek mythology, and this song literally has the lyrics "and women like hunting witches too." But this is by Madeline Miller. You probably have heard of or read Song of Achilles. Uh, Madeline Miller has like a master's in like Greek mythology, and she wields that information so beautifully. So Cersei is the daughter of a Titan, and due to a choice that she makes, she gets trapped on her island. Um, and kind of has to spend the rest of her life within this island and only interacting with those who choose to come visit her. And she goes through a very feminine rage era where she's turning men into pigs, as you've probably most like thought of. That's the most popular tale about her. And this is just it's so beautiful. You guys know I read this back in like March, and I haven't stopped thinking about it since. I love a woman fighting back. So we have the lyrics like, "Does a scorpion sting when fighting back? They strike to kill, and you know I will," because she starts off a very like soft character,
Yeah.
and then
Like, you
as
made
the
me into this.
world hardens her, she hardens, and she's like, "What do you mean? Like, I only stung you because you were attacking me. Like, I'm doing this to save myself. I'm
I'm
turning these men into pigs because I know who these men are."
Yeah, I
Um,
love the lyric, like, "No one likes a mad woman, but you made her like
mhm.
that." So it's like,
Yes.
"You're the reason why I'm like this."
Yeah,
Great
it's
book.
your fucking fault. It's always the patriarchy's fault. And I stand by that. I love the lyrics, "When you say I seem angry, I get more angry."
Oh my god.
Nothing in life
Why are
is
you
more true.
angry?
I
How dare
Oh,
you?
if I'm a little pissed off
What's
and then
wrong?
you say, "You're angry. Are you angry about this? What's wrong?"
Are you
Oh,
angry at me?
flames, eternal flames will shoot out from me.
Men,
So
I don't think men listen to this podcast, but if there are
no.
men that listen to this podcast and you do not know how to approach a woman when she's upset, just talk to me. Give me a little
Yeah.
DM and I'll walk you through a situation on how to handle it, so you don't
Yes.
have your mad woman. Because men
Just
just
read some
do not know.
books.
Read some books. All right, let's
All
speed run
right.
through these here. We have
Yes.
Epiphany, which is One for My Enemy. This is a witch's take on Romeo and Juliet. I'll give
Yes,
you the
yes,
white
yes.
version here just so we have some variety.
Yes.
So basically, this is about a witch clan.
Masha and Sasha.
Yeah, it's like a whole witch clan, but it takes place modernish day in the boroughs of
Yeah.
New York. And think like
Mhm.
gangs, think cults, think
Yeah.
witchcraft, think Romeo and Juliet. It's a
Very
tragedy. It's supposed
yes.
to read like that. It is so much fun.
Mhm.
I'm as someone who loves Olivia Blake, love her as a person. I do love
Yes.
Atlas 6, loved this book.
Mhm.
It is a little
Yes.
forgettable, so just embrace it when you read it.
Embrace it.
Epiphany. Let's
Yeah.
read some lyrics though. Sorry, guys.
Yes, I think this fits so well. If you're thinking about like house fighting of the original like
Capulets and
Montagues,
Montagues.
and then you place it upon these witches, it still stands so strong. Go ahead.
With you I serve, with you I fall down, with you I breathe in, watch you breathe out. But you dream of some epiphany, just one single glimpse of relief. How poetic. Okay, Shakespeare.
My girl's a poet.
Swift Spear. We could call her Swift Spear.
Swift Spear. Have you seen those? They're so old, but there was this trend where someone's mom was like an English professor,
Yes. Is it
and
Taylor or
she was
Shakespeare?
like, "Is it Taylor or Swift Shakespeare?" And at one point, the mom goes, "I can tell, not because Taylor doesn't have beautiful prosy writing like Shakespeare, but Taylor Swift doesn't write in iambic pentameter. How do you say that? Oh my god, iambic pentameter."
Yeah.
The 10,
Yeah.
the 10 beat thing. Oh
Yeah.
my god. I look
Iambic.
like a fool. I
Iambic.
also have a English minor. I can't
Iambic
say
pentameter. Yeah.
pentameter.
It's
Yeah.
fine.
Well, the
You
joke's
know.
funnier if you read it and you don't stumble over the word.
When you say it out loud and then you think in your head, you're like, is it iambic?
Iambic
Whatever.
pentameter.
Anyways, so with these two houses, and if you haven't
Yes.
read these books, think of the Montagues and Capulets. You know, you have this service to serve your mother.
Mhm.
You have this service to serve your father. But what
Yeah.
happens when you're dreaming of, that they're gonna have this epiphany where everything is just gonna be okay and people are gonna get
Mhm.
together and you have this dream of this girl and how, one single glimpse of someone who is your soulmate, because this is Shakespeare and we
Yes.
can think like that. All
Mhm.
of that, service and,
Yeah.
commitment dissipates because the person
Mhm.
that you love is in front of you. And I think in this song, Taylor's trying to say, like, what's it gonna take for people to have these epiphanies where it's like love is
Yeah.
better than the people you serve, or like,
Yeah.
when I look at this, I'm like, oh wow, like, when are you gonna look at someone and say like, oh, work doesn't matter if this is falling apart? And
Mhm.
I think
Or
she
like
all go ahead.
yeah, like I think there's also this a bit of like with you I serve. Like we are like almost like joined in like us as soldiers together fighting for something. And it's like shouldn't there be some bit of relief within that? Like is a relationship always just this hard? And I think
Yes,
that hits a lot of these characters where they're like we want to be together, but it's always so
hard.
fucking hard.
Yep. It's a war. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, second to last
All right.
one. Oh wait, no, we don't. We have
Betty.
Betty. Betty,
Yes.
I put this one.
Yes, yes,
Betty
yes.
is such a 90s rom-com. Betty Betty is, this song is the girl that, I mean, the guy that lost the girl because he didn't value her or see her for who she was.
Yeah.
And this book reminded me of my summer 5-star read, Just Like the Movies by Lynn Painter. Um, this is basically a fake dating trope, or plot, because our main character
Mhm.
Liz wants this guy who just moved back to
Yeah.
school, and her neighbor, they're seniors, so they've been neighbors, for 18 years.
Yeah.
Wes, always in the way. But Wes is best friends with this new guy. So she's like, "Hey, Wes,
Mm.
I'm going to let you have the parking spot we always fight over if you help me get the guy." Okay?
That's so cute.
It's 90s rom-com, every chapter starts off with a blurb from a 90s movie, 10 Things I Hate About You, 16 Candles, like Can't Buy Me Love. Like, you are going to get that
Mhm.
imagery. This is such a good read. Betty, and then of course the song is about, maybe not seeing what was right in front of you the whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, 90s rom-com, right? This is like, so, is Wes, maybe, you know,
Maybe.
maybe Wes,
Maybe. And maybe we'll see this book with a full episode review in the next week or two.
Yes.
Maybe.
I want to know if you guys have read Better Than the Movies. But the lyrics, I don't have them pulled up, so I'm gonna try to do this from the top of my head. Is when he's like, "Betty, I'm on your front door, like
Yeah.
I showed up to your party, blah blah
I
blah."
showed up to your
Think
party.
like
Would you have
boombox over
me?
the
Would you
head,
help me?
like
Would you
trying to
want
play
me to
music through
go
the
fuck
window.
yourself?
Yeah. And so
So
that
cute.
song I actually kind of see through the lens of the female main character, not the male.
Hmm.
So, Liz kind of bettied herself. And so she's the one that's kind of like, "Hey,
Yeah.
sorry." But
Sorry.
this book's amazing. Read it in a day. Cannot
Oh my
recommend more.
gosh. I'm
Love it.
excited.
All right,
I'm
peace.
excited. Okay, Peace. I love this song. I think it's so like pretty and a little underrated. But for Peace, I have Six of Crows, another oldie 2010s fantasy, which the plot of this book is Kaz Brecker, the bastard of the barrel, a very like Ketterdam inspired gas lamp fantasy setting, is a criminal, and he assembles a crew of other criminals to go like rob the shit out of this impenetrable fortress in order to get like a big ransom for stealing something. But within it, this is a character based story. The actual heist takes place in the last like, I don't know, 10% of this book, and like most of this book is just assembling the team and traveling there. Not that there's a lot of action. I mean, there's some action, but this is about these characters and their backstories, and there's a lot of beautiful fully developed characters in here. Lee Bardugo really steals it away with this one.
The
And
song.
so I've pulled some lyrics here to think about, specifically for Kaz and Inej, which you can see right off the bat have this like tense relationship where like they love one another, but there's something holding both of them back from being together. And that's kind of like their biggest like shick, is like, could they make something work when there's just like so much in the way? So as long as danger is near and it's just around the corner, darling, because it lives in me, no, I could never give you peace. I very much see that as Kaz talking to Inej. He lives a very dangerous, ruthless life. She dreams of, a quieter life once she can pay off her debts. And he's like, well, but I couldn't give you that. That's not who I am. All of these people think love's for show, but I would die for you in secret. Beautiful. And I'd swing with you for the fences, sit with you in the trenches, give you my wild, give you my child. That is very much Inej talking back to Kaz and being like, I'd do anything for you. I would, be with you, and I'd give you my child. But
There's a price.
will you take your gloves off? Which is a
Yeah.
quote from the book. Something about taking off your gloves. And this book like hits you. The second book will make you cry. It's so beautiful. Peyton has not read it yet and
I have
should.
not. I have not. It's
It should.
my.
And I
I
know
don't
there's
know if it
someone.
still is, but it's my cousin Lane's favorite book, and he's always like, "Have you read
Yeah.
Six Rose?" I'm like, "I haven't yet. I
I
haven't yet."
haven't.
This
Yeah.
song is the song that Taylor needs to play for all of her boyfriends. That's like, "Hey, I can
Yeah.
give you all of this,
Yeah.
in secret
Mhm.
and behind closed doors, but you are going to have to find peace with being in the spotlight, because that is my
Yeah.
life. And if you cannot, kind of understand that, then I know that I'm never going to be able to give the people closest to me peace because of who
Yeah.
I am. And
It's so heartbreaking because Joe's answer was no.
no. Yeah,
She
Joe
wrote
was
this
like, no.
song to Joe. Can you be with me if I can never give you peace? And his answer was no.
There was an interview she did where she's like, I'm gonna be really short talking about this song because it actually makes me really sad to talk about. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
she's gonna talk about the song she wrote about her mom's cancer or something. Like, I don't know. And it was peace.
Yeah. It was
Like,
peace.
this song is like
Mm-hmm.
deep cut for her.
Ugh. I
Um,
know. And if you're a Swiftie, there's just something like so heartbreaking about her writing Reputation and being so obsessed with a man who got with her because he didn't care that she was Taylor Swift. And then they ended because he didn't care that she was Taylor Swift.
crazy. Anyways,
I love Travis.
love Travis, guys. Okay, last
Okay.
one, everyone.
Last one.
Oh my god, this has been a long one. Okay, so hoax. We have
We will not give any direct
no. I feel like
reference.
I just want to say we kind of had the idea of A Court of Thorns and Roses or Cruel Prince. Just
Mhm.
is just the idea. I don't even really
I
want to go. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I
No,
don't.
oh, I was just gonna say, adding to that, I think Red Queen, Shadow and Bones,
Oh
a
yes,
lot of these
2010.
2010s fantasies.
Yes, this is very. That everyone who wrote around this time was like, "Oh yes,
Mhm.
add it in the story, add it in the story." I left a part of me back in New York. You knew the hero died, so
Mhm.
what's the movie for? It still hurts underneath my scars from when they pulled me apart. You knew the password, so I let you in the door. You knew you won, so what's the point of keeping score? So hoax in all of these books,
Yeah.
in all of them, we get this idea of like, oh, okay, like we're in this together, or we're a team,
Mhm.
and then
Yeah.
something fucking crazy happens, and you're like,
Yep.
wait, you knew me. This reminds me a lot of illicit affairs, kind of, where it's like, wait,
Mhm.
was it illicit affairs we had for
Yes.
From Blood and
Mhm.
Ash? Um,
Yep.
it's like you knew me better than anyone, and then you used that against me, and now you
Mhm.
want to rub it in my face that
Yeah.
you're doing like, wow, like our
Mhm.
whole relationship was a hoax. This whole like partnership was a hoax. Like
Yeah.
it relates so well, and as a reader, you get so fucking blindsided by it. You're like, damn. So this the lyric is, I left a part of me back in New York. 'Cause in a lot of these fantasy novels, the main character is ripped away or has some sort of tragedy
Yeah.
in her past. It's rare you get a fantasy novel
Mhm.
where she's just a normal ass girl. Like, usually, like, she has daddy issues, her mom's dead,
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
she's been, like, stabbed 3 times or, like, gets
Gotta do it to
transported in this
him.
world she doesn't know what the fuck to do in.
Mhm.
So, a part of me was left back in New York, and then she says, "You knew the hero died, so what's the movie for? Like, why are we doing this big thing? Like, I thought we were friends." I
Yeah.
love this lyric, though. "You knew it still hurt underneath my scars from when they pulled me apart." Um
Mm.
if you think about any main character, that's why I really thought of
Mhm.
Akatar and really Cruel Prince is like, wow, there's only so
Yeah.
many people in your life that know why you have scars.
Mhm.
And, a lot of times we're like, oh, wow, like you have a pretty big scar. I wonder what that's from. Some people actually know what those scars are from. And when you use those
Yeah.
scars to like turn against someone, that's
Mhm.
fucked. Sorry, sis. That is
Yeah.
fucked up. Anyways, so
Mhm.
all of these books relate to hoax.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yes, yes,
in
yes.
conclusion, this album's fucking the best. It's my favorite album.
It's so beautiful.
Love every
It's so
single
beautiful.
song is a banger. Um,
Yes. Uh Bonus is the lakes, which we didn't include because it's actually a trick and it's about me. It's about me.
The
No,
Lakes
I
is
I
actually my
love the
favorite
lakes.
song. That's probably my second favorite song next to My Tears Ricochet.
It's the one that I'd be like this like just feels so like
Homey.
me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I just want sad prose
Sad prose and
and to walk
Wisteria.
barefoot with the willows. Yeah.
Yep.
Wisteria. It's so beautiful. Anyways, guys, thanks.
Yeah, that is all we have for you today. Let us know if you want any more album. Um,
Yes.
we'll analyze through a bookish
Rex.
lens if you wish. But yeah, so please feel free to add what you think we missed. If you related to any of them, and
Mm-hmm.
give us your book recs based off of songs, because I was
Yes.
on Reddit and I was like obsessing over everyone's take. So, yes.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much for joining us and happy reading.